Welcome back, Seahawks, to another edition of Seahawk Central News, your source for the latest in local news and entertainment. I'm Anna Phillips.
And I'm Suzuki. This week, we take a look at the special screening of the locally filmed The Conjuring, as well as a UNCW student running for the U.S. House of Representatives.
We will also be discussing legislation in the state of California to allow minors to erase online media posts. And we will be asking the question, where are all of the hurricanes? Stay tuned because Seahawk Central News starts right now. The Conjuring will be coming to UNCW for free and with an added bonus. Screenwriters Carrie and Chad Hayes will be present for a Q&A session after the movie. The locally filmed horror movie premiered in July and begins with a family farmhouse being terrorized by an evil presence. You'll have to attend the showing in Lumina Theater on October 5th to see what happens next. Shows are free to students at 7 and 10 p.m.
Friday, September 27th marked the end of a 90-day call for ceasefire in Wilmington. The movement began in June as a response to an alarming increase in gang-related gun violence, with police reporting more than 65 shootings in just that month. According to the parties that requested the movement, the Wilmington Police Department and a community group, Boots on the Ground, the ceasefire was a success, but leaves work yet to be done. Plans are in action for not only the continuance of this call for ending violence, but also the adding of educational programs and implementing of new police strategies.
Veteran political strategist Donna Brazile came to UNCW to give her lecture, Women in Politics, Are We There Yet? Our Ian McDermott has more on the story. Ian?
We're here at the Bernie Center where author, lecturer, and political animal all around, Donna Brazile, gave a scintillating lecture about the role of women in politics. Miss Donna Brazile was the campaign manager for Al Gore's 2000 presidential campaign and currently is the vice chairwoman of the Democratic National Committee. We caught up with Casey Milliken for the Inside Scoop.
Miss Brazile is an accomplished author. She's a political strategist. She's a syndicated columnist, and she's a professor at Georgetown University. Most importantly, she served on every presidential campaign from 1976 to 2000, and she was the first African American to manage a presidential campaign. Man is by nature a political animal, but I think Miss Donna Brazile is here to show us that women are actually by nature political animals.
Men often, go and choose other men to run for office. Not a lot of females are being asked to run for office, so there should be definitely a bigger push from women getting behind women.
Well, I enjoyed her points about how she said that if there wasn't a place at the table for women, it's important to bring your own folding chair, where, there's not going to be a spot that's just going to open up. If we want something, we need to go out and just do the steps to take it.
Well, this has been an enlightening and entertaining discussion about the role of women in American politics. This has been Ian McDermott reporting for Seahawk Central News. Keep soaring, Seahawks.
Thanks, Ian.
If you were on campus last Wednesday, chances are you heard the upbeat music coming from the amphitheater. The midday concert, sponsored by ACE, featured the band Spare Change. They played covers of songs across multiple decades and had a massive audience the entire time they played. Sports anchor Perry DeLuke and I just happened to be sitting around listening to a few songs, so we grabbed a camera and got some footage for you. We talked to several students who wanted to thank ACE and express their appreciation for the concert that day.
All the free music on campus really is one of my favorite things about UNCW.
It's a great thing that ACE does and really puts a little something extra in your day between classes.
We really are lucky.
We are.
Former U.S. Army Sergeant and current UNCW student Jason Thigpen is taking running for student government to a whole other level by running instead for a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives in the 2014 election. Thigpen, who has never held office before, will be running against Republican incumbent Walter Jones on the Republican ticket. The UNCW student and poli-sci major is a heavy supporter of military and veteran organizations and has even started his own, the Student Veterans Advocacy Group. Thigpen describes his campaign as putting people before party in politics, and also commented that he will not be accepting special interest in Political Action Committee campaign contributions.
Our reporter, Kristen Dre, was on hand to check out the aesthetic of water, the art of Sean Rutke in Randall Library. Kristen?
Thanks, Aki. You know when you're in the ocean and the wave's just about to crash over your head, and for a brief moment you catch water at its purest form? Well, it's all about capturing the moment, and that's exactly what Seahawk alumni Sean Rutgate has so beautifully portrayed. I'm here in Reynolds Library with the man behind the camera to talk about his awe-inspiring work.
Like a lot of students here at the school, I was obsessed with water from an early age, and that's really what drew me to the university. When I graduated from the university, I graduated with a degree in special education, and that degree really had nothing to do with the water. So I quickly transitioned into a new business that I created, which was making artwork from water. Like most people, the aesthetic of water is something that comes naturally to us all, but we might not really know it unless it's brought to our attention. Which I've gone all over the world to gather my imagery, but I must say that this area of North Carolina, southeast North Carolina, is probably one of the most beautiful places that I've been out of all the places. I've been to Hawaii, Tuscany, throughout the Caribbean, most of the Pacific, and some other places in Europe as well. I would just like to give some inspiration to students out there to follow their passions and their dreams.
Well, Seahawks, you heard it from the source itself. Don't ever stop chasing your passion, whatever it may be. I'm Kristen Dre reporting for Seahawk Central News, TealTV. Back to you.
Thanks, Kristen.
Wilmington's very own local celebrities, Jane McNeil and Anthony Reynolds, have made it to the big screen in the drama Prisoners. The film, which stars Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal, opened in the top spot of the box office the weekend of September 20th. Prisoners follows the story of Jackman's search for his missing daughter and features McNeil as a nurse in the scene with Jackman himself, while Reynolds plays the role of an officer on the force with Gyllenhaal. Both McNeil and Reynolds can be seen on the small screen as well. McNeil in her current role on The Walking Dead, and Reynolds in the near future in his role on The Red Road, airing on the Sundance Channel starting next year.
UNCW marine biology professor Steve Inslee has spent over 20 years studying penguins in Antarctica, and he says the species may be dying out. Inslee and his graduate students have used radiocarbon dating to analyze many things about the climate in Antarctica over the last 40,000 years. He says that knowing how carbon and nitrogen drops affected the colonies of penguins then gives insight into how it may affect them in the future.
California's Governor Jerry Brown recently signed Senate Bill 568, a landmark bill requiring all websites, online services, and mobile apps to allow California minors to access an eraser button for removal of any posts they regret. It also prohibits the marketing of dangerous goods to California minors. This bill is a response to the concern over teens' digital device, smartphone, and social media use, causing ramifications for them in years following a decision to post a comment or reveal personal information. With extreme statistics such as more than 90% of American children having an online history by age 2, the movement to protect children's privacy is growing. A bill similar to Senate Bill 568, the Do Not Track Kids Act, is expected to be introduced soon.
Ann McCrory, wife of North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory, has joined the Safe American Foundation Text First, Talk Second campaign. The campaign is raising awareness on the best way for people to communicate during times of disaster. According to the foundation, one phone call takes up the same amount of bandwidth as 800 SMS text messages. Thereby, it is much more efficient for a community to text loved ones rather than trying to call them in times of crisis, like during the Boston Marathon bombing. The phone lines then became overwhelmed, and it was impossible for even emergency officials to get through to each other. Text First, Talk Second hopes that raising awareness of this issue will help everyone should disaster occur.
North Carolina's Senator Kay Hagan has been busy pushing for the reauthorizing of the Newborn Screening Saves Lives Act. Kay Hagan, who is co-sponsoring the bill alongside Republican Senator Orrin Hatch of Utah, said that the bill is something she, as a mother of 3, feels personally about. The enactment of the legislation would renew uniform testing and authorize grants to aid states improving their screening programs. After chairing a Senate subcommittee on the bill in Washington on September 26th, Hagan commented that although the political climate in Washington may stand in the way, she is hopeful that the nature of the bill will get it passed.
Go ahead and knock on some wood for good luck. CNN has asked it, and I'm repeating it. Where are the hurricanes? This year, it was predicted that we would experience at least 6 hurricanes throughout the season, and so far, there has only been 1. Some would assume this is a good thing, but researchers are asking why. There are 3 theories. Either African air is drying out the air in the Atlantic, keeping the hurricanes from forming, dry air from Brazil is doing the same thing, or horizontal winds have been wiping off the tops of hurricanes, killing their power. Even so, officials are sticking by their predictions. We'll see how many storms we get.
Let's go ahead and knock on some wood.
We got it right here. No hurricanes for us.
I could definitely get used to Nada dealing with those emergency alert phone calls.
Well, Seahawks, that's all we have time for this episode. Don't forget to check out a new segment, Ruffles My Feathers, airing next week, October 10th. Until next time, I'm Anna Phillips.
And I'm Maki Suzuki saying so long, Seahawks.